Good Tuesday afternoon. My name is Jerry Miller. Welcome to the I Love CVille Show. Good to be with you. It's gorgeous outside. We're live in Charlottesville, the Commonwealth, the country, and the world on the I Love CVille Network. Tons of news to get to you today on the program. We have UVA Corner News. We have UVA Sports News. We have news from the President's office. We have news from the Mayor's office today on the I Love CVille Show. We're going to talk the impact of the $600 a week going away at the end of this month and what it's going to do to the local economy. We have, ladies and gentlemen, the athletic director from the University of Virginia talking about fall sports. We have another restaurant that's closed in Charlottesville, this one in Barracks Road, although we've already covered it, and we have a restaurant in Littlejohn's on the UVA corner that is asking for help. All those stories and more on the I Love CVille Show. Guys, give the show a like and a share on any of the Facebook pages you're watching on. And if you want to offer your perspective, do it in the comment section. I will relay it on air. Jaison Burke is going to join us, co-owner and managing partner of Littlejohn's. Littlejohn's, I've been eating there since I was a kid, since the early 90s. I'm second generation UVA. My dad loves Littlejohn's, loves a wild turkey, loves a Chris Long, loves a Samson, loves a ranch hand. We each, probably most of us in this community, have a Littlejohn story of some capacity. We're going to talk with Jaison Burke in about 20 minutes on this program. Managing partner and co-owner, Littlejohn's is asking for help. We have that story for you. Kelly Jackson joins us in the 1 o'clock hour. She's the star, the co-star of Women Changing Our World. It airs Mondays at 10:15 a.m. on the I Love CVille Network. She and Jamie Schwartz just doing compelling, entertaining, funny, dynamic programming right here at the I Love CVille Network. We'll talk with Kelly Jackson, who's a mother of two, what it's like from a mom and a parent's perspective as we head closer and closer and closer to the fall semester. And what she's feeling as a mom and as a parent of two, as a business owner, as an entrepreneur. So a lot we're going to cover with her. We're an advertising agency at I Love CVille. I'm going to repeat it again. VMV Brands and I Love CVille. We are an advertising agency, and we work with small business owners from our satellite office in New Providence, New Jersey, all the way to Asheville, North Carolina. Our headquarters, our heart, and our building are on Market Street in Charlottesville in downtown CVille, okay? So two of our favorite clients, Interstate Pest and Service Companies and Scott Wagner, Chiropractic and Sports Medicine. Interstate's been in the game since 1969. I mean, bona fide, big-time people, okay? And I'm going to tell you about this business. The first generation, Mr. Wells, used a pickup truck and payphones to build a company, and now it has 4 generations of family and a lot of team members doing well by this community, and it's just like Scott Wagner. Chiropractic care, sports medicine, physical therapy, Dr. Wagner has your back, changing people's lives. All right, let's start with a macro story, and before we go anywhere, and before I offer you the first headline, how about this? If I had told you guys, on March 1 of this year, if I told you on March 1 of this year, the ACC men and women's basketball tournament would be canceled. If I had told you the NCAA men's basketball and women's basketball tournaments would be canceled. If I told you that the stock market would crash. If I told you that the University of Virginia hospital system was losing $80 million per month. If I told you that second semester, this past semester for public schools and private schools across America was, for the most part, a useless semester where kids didn't learn much. If I told you that the restaurant industry would be ravaged. If I told you that the wedding and event industry would be pummeled. If I told you that live music across the country would be canceled. If I told you that there could be no in-person school this fall. If I told you that there may be no in-person UVA school this fall, maybe no football this fall, if I told you millions of people would be sick with a virus that no one's ever heard of and thousands of people would have died, if I told you all that on March 1, you would have looked at me and you would have said, Jerry, shut up and get the hell out of here. But that's what's happened. ACC tournaments canceled. March Madness canceled. Stock market crash. UVA hospital losing $80 million a month. Second semester of schools. This past semester, no one learned anything. Restaurants, weddings, and events hammered. live music hammered, maybe no in-person school this fall, maybe no UVA sports this fall, millions of people sick and thousands of people dead. And guys, that's just been since March 1. Think about it. Now let's go to our first headline. It's from Los Angeles and San Diego. Judah Wickhauer, get it on screen. NPR, Los Angeles and San Diego schools have made the commitment to virtual learning this fall. The administrators at LA schools and San Diego schools, my brother works for Snapchat. He and his family live in LA. They are going through this firsthand. Schools, virtual only, decision being made. They're committed in LA and San Diego to returning to an in-person model when the numbers indicate healthy learning environments. Until that, it's virtual learning all the way for Los Angeles, California, and San Diego, California public schools. California is being ravaged right now. From a GDP standpoint, California is the second largest GDP producer in America. They have throttled back the opening of restaurants. They have throttled back the opening of music venues, entertainment venues, movie theaters, and bars. And perhaps this afternoon, when we watch Governor Ralph Northam at a press conference, we can see maybe similar maneuvers for the Commonwealth of Virginia. So you're seeing momentum from coast to coast, west to east, of public schools going virtual for the fall. Our mayor, let's localize this, Judah. Our mayor, in a headline from the Daily Progress, get that on screen if you could. This is about UVA students. And our mayor says that she feels extremely uneasy and frankly does not want students to return to grounds in the fall. I understand where she's coming from. She called UVA's reopening plans, Mayor Nikhil Walker, a recipe for disaster. Is that on screen, Judah? It is on screen. Look at the screen. Look at the screen. This was yesterday. Quote, I, for one, do not understand why the students are coming back into the community from all over the globe and why we would take that chance. End quote. Mayor Nikhil Walker, Mayor of Charlottesville, Virginia. All right, let's look at this from every single angle. Let's look at this from every single side. Please. Side number one. She makes good points. She makes good points. We're going to have folks from outside Charlottesville, outside the state, outside the country, coming to CVille potentially, and we risk the coronavirus pandemic spreading. That is a fair and reasonable point. No one can question that. However, what I will challenge is this. If we do not have UVA students on grounds in Charlottesville, this is what's going to happen. Businesses will shutter and close for good. Food and beverage taxes will diminish. Hospitality and hotel taxes will diminish. When a municipality like Charlottesville sacrifices 20 to 25,000 people, many with their parents' credit card, you will lose the disposable tax revenue that is allocated to schools, to roads, to police, to fire, to rescue, to the maintenance of the municipality. So while, from a short-term standpoint, not having students in Charlottesville, UVA students in Charlottesville, may help contain COVID-19 in Charlottesville and Central Virginia. Yes, it will. Not adding 25,000 people to this community, yes, will contain COVID-19. But the macro fatal flaw of this thinking, the macro fatal flaw of Mayor Walker's thinking is the lack or the shortfall in tax revenue that comes from students not eating at the corners, parents not staying in hotels, parents not visiting on long weekends or football weekends and spending their money, or 25,000 new people incrementally spending at businesses across the community. If students come back, merchants will shutter drastically much quicker. Worth repeating, if students don't come back, small businesses in this community will shutter and close their doors at a much greater clip than if students return. That is safe to say. Please, 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 please see the big picture of sacrificing taxable revenue, and the taxable revenue oftentimes is allocated to schools, police, fire, and rescue. And one other thing to consider. Everybody listen to this. Charlottesville City needs about $200 million a year for the city to run. That's the budget. Albemarle County needs about $400 million a year to run. That's the budget. The leaders in the city and the leaders in the county will find a way to get their budget as close to the 200 and 400,000 number as possible. So if they don't have the food and beverage revenue, or if they don't have the hotel and hospitality revenue, and if they don't see 25,000 students come to Charlottesville this fall, this is how the revenue is going to be made up. Are you ready? Through real estate taxes. Through real estate taxes. Through real estate taxes. And folks, if you turn your back on 25,000 students and you cause merchants to shutter, and you cause F&B tax revenue to decline, and you call hotel tax revenue to decline, tourism and hospitality tax revenue to decline, leaders will raise real estate taxes. It's going to sting me and you, and it's going to create the barrier of entry of home ownership, and it's going to make that barrier of entry much more greater. Generational wealth gap separation. There's no right or wrong answer, because in a short term, Mayor Walker saying 25,000 students not coming to the community maybe short term helps contain COVID. But the long-term ramifications of commentary like that, and the long-term ramifications, if commentary like that turns into reality, the long-term ramifications are schools are going to suffer, police are going to suffer, firemen are going to suffer, roads are going to suffer, the maintenance of the municipalities are going to suffer. And then real estate taxes are going to be increased on the back end to try to make up a budget shortfall. And when real estate taxes are increased, people that are living on a tight budget will feel a pinch, and the barrier of entry to home ownership becomes more significant. And those are facts. And that's how generational wealth, and that's how the wealth gap in this community is expanded. Like and share, live on 12 Facebook pages, live on Instagram, live on LinkedIn, live on Twitter. Live across the I Love CVille Network. 6 states watching the program as we speak. We welcome Tennessee and Pennsylvania to the broadcast. Judah Wickower, I'm feeling fired up right now. Let's go to our next headline. And our next headline, boys and girls, comes from Carla Williams. Carla Williams and UVA, Judah. It's the headline, news.virginia.edu. Tell me when that's on screen. Please, sir. And I'm going to put it on screen behind me, too. That's on screen? Okay, keep it on there, please, sir. Thank you, sir. I'm going to call it up behind me. Carla Williams is the fabulous athletic director at the University of Virginia. Okay? And you can go to me now, Judah, if you'd like. Carla Williams on screen behind me. There you see her. She's dynamic. She's a leader. We are lucky to have this lady running the athletic department at Thomas Jefferson's University. She's crushing it. So here's a Q&A from from the Virginia website, news.virginia.edu. And there's a lot of fluff in this Q&A. However, I'm going to slide down, and when I slide down, I'm going to get to something that was buried in the story. And this question is 8 questions in. What has been the pandemic's financial impact on the athletic department. What measures have you put in place to help offset lost revenue? I'll give you the question again. This is news right here. And this is buried in a story on Virginia's website that other media has not reported. I have a voracious appetite for reading. The question, what has been the pandemic's financial impact on the athletics department? What measures have you put in place to offset lost revenue? Carla says, there is still no final word on what's going to happen with football. We don't know. We're anticipating anywhere from a 15 to 30% shortfall, and that's if we have an uninterrupted football and basketball season. Worth repeating. The athletic department is anticipating a 15 to 30% shortfall, and boys and girls, that's if we have an uninterrupted football and basketball season. And I'm going to be honest, football's looking tenuous at best. We cut our budget by 10%. And every head coach and employee making above $100,000 opted to take a voluntary pay cut. So, come back to me here. Carla Williams, on screen behind us, and you can go to this camera over here, Gina. This camera over here. Looking at me. Carla Williams, on screen behind us, right here. Fabulous, dynamic, smart, honest, straight up says 15 to 30% shortfall right now for the athletic department. And that 15 to 30% is based on us having an uninterrupted football and basketball season. So much like the hospital system that's hemorrhaging $80 million a month, or was hemorrhaging $80 million a month a couple months ago, we have an athletic department that is no bueno, chico, okay? In a very concerning position. So we should pray as lovers of the community, as supporters of small business, as folks that bleed orange and blue and support the ACC. Right now, we are at the hope of having a football season with no fans in a stadium. The reality of having a football season with fans in the stadium is slim to none, and if I'm as a gambling man, and I am a gambling man, I would put the odds at 5 to 1 against fans in the stadium, and I would say it's not going to happen. So your $5, my $5 against your $1. My 500 against your 100, my 5,000 against your 1,000. There's no right answer here, but I'm going to cut to the chase. And Judah, you can put the headline on there from CNBC, please. And give me a thumbs up when that's on screen. This is what we know. We know that the $600 a week that folks are getting, that's on screen? Thank you. Look at the screen. The $600 a week that folks are getting from the government to sit on their tail at home instead of go back to work, that expires on July 31st. We know that sometime this month, UVA is going to announce whether or not it's going to have a fall sports season. And sometime this month, we're going to know whether or not students are going to be on grounds and in what capacity. So I'm going to say this, and listen please. In the next couple of weeks, a ton of people that are collecting $600 a month from the government, that's going to evaporate. In the next few weeks, we find out or not if we're going to have fall sports at all. And in the next couple weeks, we find out the magnitude or the amount of students that are going to come on grounds to Charlottesville. The next few weeks are going to determine in a lot of ways the rest of 2020 in Charlottesville and in Central Virginia. Because I'm fearful that when this $600 a week evaporates on July 31st and folks are looking for jobs, I'm fearful that those jobs are no longer alive or in existence or there. I think they've been replaced by the internet, by efficiencies that have been created because business owners have their back against the wall, or the jobs they previously had, the business is shuttered. The next few weeks are going to say a lot of what happens here. All right, let's go to our next story and give it a like, a share. Give it a like, a share. I see 8 states watching the show now, 8 different states on the broadcast, guys, with folks all over Charlottesville and all over the Commonwealth watching the program. So, Judah, the next headline I want to watch, you got something you want to relay on air, Judah?
Nope.
Okay. The next headline I want to get to is the one from NBC 29, and then we'll segue from that one into the GoFundMe with Littlejohn's, and then we'll get Jaison on the line. So NBC 29 had an interview, and I've been saying this for weeks. We're able to move faster than the media outlets because we don't have the bureaucracy, the overhead, and I have the value of long form, where a 30-minute news broadcast at 6 o'clock has 22 minutes of content and 8 minutes of commercials. When you have 22 minutes of content in a 30-minute broadcast, you can only allocate 15, 30, or 60 seconds per story. Here, I can spend as long as I want, and I can even go over, because I own the network, anytime I want. Okay? So that's why we really dig into stuff that otherwise is allocated 15 or 30 seconds everywhere else, or 2 to 3 sentences, or 2 to 3 sentences at a quote in a newspaper. So NBC 29 did a 15 or 30 second story on UVA Corner. It interviewed Cal Mincer from Mincer's University of Virginia in printed sportswear, and it also interviewed the owner of Finch Boutique. And both of them have straight up said, if we don't have folks coming here for football or students returning, the corner's going to look like a very different place. And 3 or 4 people own the corner. We know Terry, who previously owned Tip Top and College Inn, he's got a stake in there. Hunter Craig's got a stake in there. Okay, very few people own this little district of commerce. So not only are the businesses like Littlejohn's and like Mincer's and like Finch's Boutique, not only of them are like, hey, remember us, support us, come visit us, we need your help. But the landlords are doing the same. Get the GoFundMe on screen. This is a GoFundMe, and we're going to welcome Jaison Burke, managing partner, co-owner of Littlejohn's on the broadcast here in a matter of moments. Jaison, if you're watching, I'm going to reach out to you in about 45 seconds. You have a hell of a lot of people watching you here. You have the GoFundMe on screen? Mm-hmm. Littlejohn's has a GoFundMe that's going on right now. It was launched last night. Bo Stockton put this on my radar. I'm a huge Bo Stockton fan. I love Bo Stockton. I've known Bo Stockton since 2002. Bo Stockton, if you were here, I would do a flying chest bump with you. I would rip a shot of bourbon with you, and I'd follow it up with a nice cold IPA. I love Bo Stockton. And Bo Stockton says to me, Jerry, we're trying to save Littlejohn's. Bo Stockton, also the owner of Michael's Bistro. They started GoFundMe. They're looking for $85,000. And we're going to do everything we can with this platform to raise awareness for a brand and an institution in Littlejohn's Deli that I've been eating since the early 90s. Okay, we all have our Littlejohn story. Maybe it's me closing up the bars with my buddies while I was in school or after school. I go to Annie McClure's, the Biltmore. I go to Michael Lewis's Boylan Heights. I go to Coupe de Ville's. I go to Trinity. I probably go to them all at the same night. And I stagger into Littlejohn's about 2:15 in the morning, and I'm looking for some absorbers in my belly before I head back to 14th Street to wake up without an alarm the next morning. I get a wild turkey sub. I get a water to hydrate. The chips come with it, and a wild turkey sub with my buddies after the bars close and we head home. So many people have that story. And if you told me that on March 1, we'd have no basketball tournaments, we'd have a hospital hemorrhaging $80 million a month, we have a UVA that may not have students return in the fall, we may not have schools go to public schools in the fall, the stock market was going to hit the crapper, thousands have died, millions have gotten sick, we might not have UVA sports, live events and live music are done, the wedding industry has been ravaged, the restaurants have been ravaged, and Littlejohn's needs $85,000 from a GoFundMe to save its business? If you told me that on March 1, I would say, hit the road, Jack, you've been huffing glue, you're drunk on IPAs, what the heck are you talking about? But here we are. I mean, how many folks thought of all the restaurants in Charlottesville, Virginia, Littlejohn's with $8 to $12 ticket prices, a 24/7 environment, and students with mommy and daddy's credit card. This was one that I was going to be like, this is going to make it long term. It's approachable, it's fair, it's honest, it's got a good price point, and folks love sandwiches. It's the COVID world we live in, and now we do our part as a community to save an institution. Judah Wickower, our director. JW, my friend. I'm going to reach out to Jaison Burke right now. Jaison Burke, I believe, is in California. And that's why we have Californians watching the broadcast. 9 states watching the broadcast as we speak. Jaison Burke on the line. Judah, give me a thumbs up to welcome the managing partner and the co-owner of Littlejohn's in the UVA corner. I'm getting that thumbs up from our director now. Jaison, you are live with a lot of people watching you here. Before we talk shop, before we talk Littlejohn's, who are you and what are you all about, dude?
Hey, I'm Jaison Burke. I'm a Charlottesville local. I've been out of state for a while, working in the food and beverage industry through hotels, independent restaurants for about 20 years, mixed between Charlottesville and San Diego and Los Angeles. I just revisited home, Charlottesville, for a little over 2 weeks. Walking through town, I was staying at the Graduate on the corner. I would go between downtown and the corner every single day. In these times that we're having now, I noticed a lot of change. I noticed that Littlejohn's was disappearing, and there was a large chance of culture changing, throughout the food scene in that area, and got up with some really good friends of mine and decided we were not going to let that happen.
You got Charlotte, North Carolina watching, Nashville, Tennessee watching the broadcast, folks in South Carolina. Obviously, what's happening here is UVA graduates and folks that are tied to the university have gone from 4 years in Charlottesville, 5 years in my case, and then they've gone to start their careers elsewhere. They've been touched by a phenomenal brand in Littlejohn's, and they're trying to figure out what the heck's happening here and how they can save it. So are you new to ownership here at Littlejohn's? Is that right?
Brand new.
Okay.
Brand new.
Okay. So you're trying to rescue a beloved brand. Is that safe?
That's exactly what we're trying to do. It's as you said earlier, there's no right or wrong choice here as far as the pandemic goes and the students coming back. I just know that I'm not willing to have that centerpiece of culture disappear. It means a lot to me. I spent my entire youth on the corner. My partner Bo Stockton, my partner Matt Lemansky. We're townsfolks. We didn't go to the university. We grew up.
You're
in the
locals.
food scene there. We grew up going out. We're just locals.
Yeah.
We're locals that have 60 years of combined food and beverage restaurant experience between us, and the ability to come in and work this passion project to kind of save what we love, what we grew up on.
I love this guy even more. So this guy is a Charlottesvillian that is trying to save a brand that we all love. I freaking love this guy. I love this guy. All right, so how does this work, dude? I mean, we got a GoFundMe where we're trying to chase 85K. We're driving a lot of attention to it. Judah, get the GoFundMe on screen here. So did you go, and give us as much as you can here without speaking out of turn. Did you go and say, look, I need to save this. I'm going to come rescue this business. Did the three of you guys do this?
We did. So it actually happened, less than a week ago. Just about a week ago. Okay, so I was going to meet Bo and Matt at Michael's Bistro, which they both run currently, and we just started chatting about the ability to have a partnership occur. It rolled really fast downhill. Mr. Cash Rich people. We just decided that we had to get the ball rolling, and we kicked the GoFundMe up last night. We've raised about $1,000 so far, so we need to pick the pace up on it to really make it happen. But we just kind of went all in. We said if we're going to do it, we've got to do it now. There's no time to hesitate. We've got.
Oh, man, we're having, I think, hold on one second, Jaison. I think we're having some sound issues here. Are we having sound issues with Jaison, Judah?
Yeah, his connection's not very good.
All right, the connection's a bit spotty here. If you could get as close to the router as possible that you have here. You're dropping so many knowledge bombs here. Get the GoFundMe link on screen. We're going to welcome Bo Stockton next week to the program here as well. All right, Jaison, what does $85,000 do for you guys?
Just gives us operating equity. That's the main thing. Right now, none of us are cash rich people. Like I said, we're basically putting in everything we have to these companies. We're zeroing out. We're going all in. I'm picking up Los Angeles to Charlottesville. I have work here, a career here. Help. Honestly, we can't do it without this point. We really need the community to step up and show us how to enjoy Littlejohn's, because we can't see this aggressive shutdown in local communities, because it's not going to be, it's not sustainable for the economy of Charlottesville. It's not going to be sustainable for the community, the culture of the university. We really can't lose these staples that have built for 45 years going on with Littlejohn's. We can't lose that culture or that middle of the road, or that middle of the corner location that means so much. Because no one should have to go without a sandwich.
I love it. I texted my dad, Jason. I texted my dad about this, and he was like, "What? I freaking love this place." And literally, when I come visit, I try to go out of my way. This is a 72-year-old man here. To go out of my way to find parking somewhere around the corner to go to your restaurant and have a wild turkey. This is a 72-year-old man saying about this. So your brand is one of the best in Charlottesville. Here's a tough question for you, Jason. If there are no students and no sports this fall, if it's a virtual learning environment, how does the corner survive?
Well, Littlejohn's, as anyone that's been there knows, has an operating system as far as the patrons passing through, where they're lining up, they're placing an order, they're walking. So that naturally adapts itself to social distancing on the corner. It's an indoor environment, but it's a very spacious indoor environment. So we're able to adapt that. We're also going to be adding a patio, which has never been added to that location on the corner.
Good for you.
So directly in front, there's going to be that large space. It's going to be the largest patio space on the corner.
Wow.
On that area of the corner, there's the space behind Boylan Heights area, right in the back there. That is a little possibly larger, but it's going to be a large space, probably seating for 20, 25 people. We hope that we can have an operating capital that's sufficient through this GoFundMe, plus our capital investments as partners in this venture. And we're rolling the dice. We need to see that. We're going to be operating Michael's Bistro as well, and we're going to do curbside service from there and patio service from there. We plan to bring Michael's back to back in the game when the students come in full time, because it's mainly adapted to indoor seating. But we're really calling on, alumni. We have got, a Chris Long sandwich. We've got, all the classics that people love. We're really looking at community support to show that we can come together during these trying times in a pandemic with COVID-19, and, really show that we have the faith that we will get back to where we were prior to this.
Dude, I love everything what you guys stand for here. I'll throw this to you. Another tough question. The brand is loved. It's a phenomenal brand. It's phenomenal sandwiches. The price points are fair. The food is, on the grand scale of things, relatively healthy. It's freaking delicious. Okay? Have you guys thought that maybe this brand could sustain and survive easier if it was not in that location? Or is it always a UVA corner location brand?
It's always a UVA corner location brand, 100%. And again, this brand sustained itself for 45 years. There's no questioning that the potential for this brand is there, and it will continue to go on forever if I have anything to do with it. We've hit a hard time. We simply have to have the weight behind us to push through it, and people like myself and like Matt and like Bo that are willing to put the blood, sweat, and tears into it to keep the brand operational.
I love it. How about this? You are a Charlottesvillian. We're a platform of hope, and we'll get the GoFundMe link up. Dude, people are scared, Jason. People are vulnerable. People are uncertain. This is some freaking scary times out there. You know what it reminds me of? This is like the jungle and like Darwinism here. And it's like survival of the fittest. And like whatever you could, and I'm just talking in general terms, that anyone can do to survive. We are a platform of hope. Take that topic and give us some commentary from a hopeful lens, if you could.
Absolutely. We will get back to normal. We will get back to some form of normal. And I think that, if we can work it over whatever amount of time it takes to get there, we will appreciate the fact we put the dedication into saving this. It'll still be there. It won't be a gas station or a Sheetz or something along those lines. Although I love Sheetz, but the corner has changed its face a lot, and I really don't want it to change anymore. I want to keep that aesthetic there. When I came back to Charlottesville, I had no idea that I wasn't going to be able to get a nuclear sub at Littlejohn's, and that's kind of what spawned this whole conversation. Is I walked there to get a sandwich, and when I couldn't, I felt like a little piece of my childhood left. I am hopeful that we will get back to exactly where we were before. We'll have the stadium full. We'll have the arenas full. We'll have all the bars and restaurants full during game days and people cheering and that's my hope. That's my note of hopefulness. We'll also have the bistro going for dinner, and that's as hopeful that as I'm willing to be. I mean I'm going to be hopeful. That's as negative as I'm going to be. As I know that it will get there, but it will take a little bit of time.
And that's why this guy's going to be successful. That's why you're going to be successful. I love you guys. We're going to have Bo on Monday. I'm a huge fan of Bo. Let's get the GoFundMe link on screen. Anything that should be out there that we're not covering, Jaison?
One thing is that when we do reopen, we plan on giving back to the community through donations for a large majority of our profit. When that time, when we open, anyone can come in and get a donation from the university from a community member. We're not only going to focus on the university, we will be paying a living wage. We will be offering insurance.
That's big time. These guys are doing it right. Thank you. Good luck.
Thank you.
Good luck.
Thank you.
Great guy right there. Bo Stockton, another co-owner in Littlejohn's and of Michael's Bistro fame, is going to join us on Monday to spotlight this. Give it a like, give it a share, give it a like, give it a share, give it a like, give it a share. It comes down to this, boys and girls. It comes down to this. I went to school at UVA 2000 to 2004, 2005. When I was in school, 2000, 2001, 2002, 2003, 2004, the corner was this like intimate, eclectic, local, like energized, like vibrant. It epitomized so much of what the community was all about. Parents and locals and students alike assimilating and mingling and having a good time with each other with a number of businesses. Now you look at the corner, you see a Sheetz. Now you look at the corner and you see vulnerability. Now you look at the corner and you see exposure to risk. I don't know about you, but I know when I go to a football game and I go to a mall, or I go to a basketball game, or we just spend a Saturday with the wife and kid walking around grounds in the corner. I don't know about you, but when I'm walking up and down UVA and I'm walking down the corner, I want to see local. I want to see folks I know. I want to see the Bo Stocktons, the Annie McClures, the Michael Lewises, the Jaison Burkes. I want to see the Tom Bows. And I don't necessarily want to see a big box brand that doesn't understand the history of the shopping corridor. Give the show a like and a share. Give the show a like and a share. Give the show a like and a share. Kelly Jackson's going to join us in a matter of moments. Jay Wyant says we're dropping knowledge bombs. Curtis Shaver is watching the program. Love Curtis Shaver. Jaison Burke, if you're watching the show, you're getting love from Curtis Shaver, co-owner of Peloton Station on 10th Street. Jaison is watching in California, I believe, right now. Jaison, you're getting props from Curtis. This just comes in. And Kelly Jackson, we're going to go to you in 60 seconds. This comment coming in from Jennifer Monk. Jerry, I love your program. We watch this show every single day. You can count on us for a donation to save Littlejohn's. We're going to do it as we speak. Thank you for that. That was kind of you. Get the GoFundMe link on screen. Donate to this. Donate to this and save an institution that needs to be helped. Donate to this. Judah, let's go to Kelly. I'm going to get her on the line. Kelly Jackson is the co-star of the program that airs on Mondays at 10:15 a.m. on this network, Women Changing Our World. She's an entrepreneur. She's a mom. She's a philanthropist. She's an amazing person, has a great sense of style. She has the blue glasses on today. I think they look fantastic. I'm going to get the thumbs up from Judah that we have you on screen. Let's go to Kelly right there. Let's duplicate what we just did. Kelly, those blue glasses look fantastic. Yeah, there it is. All right, Kelly, you have a lot of commentary to offer here. Is it 17 Paneras you guys own?
16.
Okay, 16 Paneras. Okay,
Yep.
you own 16 Paneras here. UVA corner, Littlejohn's. The corner is vulnerable. You just heard the interview. You're a businesswoman. You're a leader. Anywhere you want to go on this topic?
I feel bad for Littlejohn's. I live here locally, but obviously I own a national brand. And I would love to see the corner be all local. I won't say I will never go in there, but that's not what we're trying to do as Panera. And I don't think that's what the corner wants to be. And if we can help Littlejohn's in any way we can, we will. So if they want to reach out to me, I'm more than happy to help them. We're in this together, and I make a great sandwich and he makes a great sandwich. So it benefits both of us and the community if we both work together. So anything I can do to help, let me know.
I love it. How does a restaurant survive this? Your thoughts?
You got to change your business model. If you can't open your doors, you got to start delivery. You got to start curbside. Maybe you start focusing on catering to small businesses or hospitals that are open. Who's having meetings? Who's having to get together? I would suggest limiting your menu to your top sellers so you don't have the high overhead food costs that you're not using. If you aren't able to use all of your employees, hopefully people will get another stimulus check, furlough them. They can get unemployment, and then save the job for them. When you are ready to open, they can come back. It's a win-win for everybody. I would say don't fire anybody unless you really absolutely have to. I would look at, partner with other restaurants. Maybe if you're a restaurant downtown and you're next to somebody else, create a joint menu. Put your forces together. It's not about being competitors at this time. It's about working together so we all can try to survive this.
Great answer. Kelly dropping knowledge bombs here. All right, throw this topic to you.
Okay.
No sports in the fall UVA. What kind of impact does this have on this community here and businesses, do you think? What's the crystal ball say?
It's going to kill people. It's going to kill businesses. It's going to kill restaurants. It's going to kill bars. You look at Barracks Road Shopping Center.
And you have a location there. You have a location in Barracks.
We have a location
Yeah.
there. That's one of our busiest days. People picking up food for tailgating. People are spending the night. Sunday morning, people are flooding into Panera to grab a bagel or a pastry and a coffee on their drive back to DC or Roanoke or wherever they're coming from. And then they stay and shop in the centers. It's going to hurt. It's going to hurt a lot. And I hope that all of us can survive it.
Amen.
But I don't think it's going to come back.
You don't think, what do you mean it's going to come back?
I don't think sports are coming back.
You don't think it's coming back this fall, or you don't think it's coming back for the school year and the whole year?
At least the fall.
Yeah,
I don't think there's any way they can do it.
Yeah.
The 2 UVA football players at training camp have already had COVID or have COVID. They've had to cancel the next 2 weeks. What happens if the football team plays another football team and one of those players has COVID? Then are both teams quarantined for 2 weeks? I don't know how that works.
Yeah, those are good questions. I think she might be right. I hate to say this. I think she might be right. I think our best bet is empty stadiums, but then the players and coaches are so exposed. She might be right here. All right, you have so much perspective to offer. You have 2 kids?
2.
What?
6 and 12.
Okay,
Girls.
a 6 and 12-year-old. Okay, so
Right.
not a businesswoman now. You're a mom. You're a parent here. What is going through your mind as we get close to the fall semester? Are you freaking?
Well, I've already made a decision for my youngest. She's not going to go back. We've hired an amazing teacher to do private schooling for her. She has severe asthma, and I don't think it would be safe in our situation. A 6-year-old's not going to wear a mask all day. They're not going to stay even 5 inches apart from one another. So that's a no-go for me. The 12-year-old, it depends on the plan. But it's very frustrating that none of the schools are giving out a plan. Because I will tell you this. You have to sign up for either public school or homeschooling by August 1st. No school is going to send out a plan before then. How can you make a decision without a plan?
Good point. So what are you going to do? You play the waiting game? And here's another question. If your 12-year-old, and I met her yesterday, she's phenomenal, super bright. If your 12-year-old goes to school in person, does that not risk the health of your 6-year-old because your 12-year-old's going to interact with your 6-year-old at home?
Right. So, I mean, I think they should try to do classes outside as much as possible. I think all students should be required to wear masks. Hand washing. I don't know. Do you hire like a bathroom attendant to wipe down the bathrooms? Listen, if I had a crystal ball, regardless if school's open or not, give it till flu season. Then it's over. Because then you don't know who has COVID, who has the flu. Tests are probably going to be limited because so many people are going to be testing. You're not going to get results for 10 days. There's just, my opinion, they're not going to do it. Okay, and here's another question I'll ask you, Jerry.
Sure.
Okay, so if my kid gets exposed to COVID, or not my kid, a kid, in their classroom, they go back home and live with their parents. Those parents now are exposed, but they go to work. So then what does the workplace do?
I have no idea. It's crazy. It's like such a domino effect. What do you do? Or how about this question for you? Both mom and dad work. Most families got 2 parents working, and the kid has to stay home to learn virtually, but the kid's too young to be there by themselves, and then the kid goes to grandma and grandpa's house and exposes the most vulnerable population in Charlottesville.
Right.
What the hell are we going to do, Kelly? What are we going to do?
Okay, here's a suggestion I have. Outside of the box. I always like to think outside of the box. And you've been talking about, and we've been talking, the difference of what the public schools are going to offer in the private schools. Let's assume at some point we're going to distance learning. Okay. Private schools, if you're listening, get together, pool your funds, create a great online curriculum, and then do the right thing and share it with the public school system for free.
Ooh, that's a good idea. I haven't heard anyone say that. Because you're saying the private schools have the resources to do it, and then once they've kicked the tires, pass the plan along because it's been popped, it's proof of performance.
Right. And share, then let's say they create some sort of amazing website for distance learning. Let the public school kids access that website. Let the public school teachers maybe create a page on that website to share with their children. Let's not be in competition. Let's be a community and collective and share resources.
That's good knowledge right there. You're a businesswoman and a mom. This is a question for both brains, okay?
Okay.
How does a private school allow their curriculum to go online only, and does that diminish the val prop of the private school itself? These private schools want that tuition dollars, and if it's online only, how does the private school stay in operation?
Listen, I don't have good answers, but I will say this. At least offer the core classes. Right. Why don't you do math, science, history, English? Okay. Furlough the other employees. Right. That's probably, 30%. I'm guessing. I don't know. Right. Take that money. So now the teachers can get unemployment and hopefully the stimulus check. They might be making more doing that than actually what they're getting paid. Right. Then take that savings from their salaries, spread it across the board use half of that money for half a tuition cut. Use the other half of the money that the school is saving. And while the school is closed, do some updates. Put in a new STEM lab. Buy some more laptops. Make some updates. So people are getting a small break on tuition. The people that are furloughed are still getting paid somehow, but not by you. know. I think that sounds
I think they may
reasonable.
survive with that. Yeah, she's dropping good stuff right here. She is the co-star of Women Changing Our World, Mondays at 10:15 on the I Love CVille Network. Like their Facebook page, their show, Jamie Schwartz and Kelly's is dynamic. Before I go, I've heard stories about this. Is that the pink flamingo in the tuxedo over your shoulder right there? Can I see that?
Yes.
What is going on over here? I really like the shelf behind you in the bookends.
Do you see my?
I
pile
do
of
see your
laundry?
pile of laundry over there. That is a pink flamingo in a tuxedo. Can you tell us the story? And I really love your chandelier. People are giving props on the stream about your chandelier. What is going on with that pink flamingo over there?
Okay, so one of my favorite stores that I always visited before COVID is Circa. I am obsessed with that store.
McIntyre Plaza by CVille Coffee. Okay.
Yes. Best store. Shout out to you, Circa. I walk in to the main part of the store. I see this giant 9-foot flamingo in a tuxedo on. How do I not buy that, Jerry? How do I not buy that? I roll up in my Tahoe or my Denali. I call my husband. I'm like, you need to get something out of the car. I bought something from Circa.
You call Adam, and what did Adam say? You bought something else from Circa?
Yeah. He comes down. He's like, what is this? I love him. He's Bertram, our butler. When we have parties, I roll him by the front door with a drink cart for welcome drinks, put snacks. He's like an unpaid part of the family. We dress him up for holidays. We love him.
I love it. Oh, you were good today. Why don't we make this every Tuesday?
Let's do it. Let's all think of some good topics too. Chip.
Please. You crushed it. Thank you.
No, you're the best.
You have a good one.
You too. See you Monday.
See you Monday, guys. Kelly and Jamie, Women Changing Our World, Mondays at 10:15 on the I Love CVille Network. One of the best shows we do on this network. It's two vivacious, dynamic, intelligent ladies shooting the you-know-what in front of a lot of people with some cameras on them, and it's fantastic. Give the show a like and a share. Give it a like and a share. If you want some comments heard on air, now's the time to get your comments on air. We have comments coming in. Carol Thorpe, I will get to yours in a matter of moments, I promise. All right, let's get to Carol's now. Carol Thorpe has a message for the mayor. Someone tag Nakia Walker on the show, please. Someone get Mayor Walker watching. Here's a message from Carol Thorpe to Mayor Walker. Madame Mayor, doubled down yesterday and left no doubt to remain that she has zero concern about the economic viability of Charlottesville. When she repeatedly yanks the welcome mat out from under the feet of the University of Virginia students, she condemns the corner. She condemns the many other local businesses that are certainly going to demise with no students in Charlottesville. Her concerns have merit, and there are no perfect answers, but without a cooperative spirit and plan for UVA, Mayor Walker dooms the city to another kind of disaster. Simply crying, "Stay away," is not leadership. Wow, Carol Thorpe, I'm going to like your comment, and I'm literally, Judah, going to respond to Carol Thorpe right now and say, amen. That was phenomenal. I'm literally saying that right now to you, Carol. So a couple things on Carol's comment. She's right. She's right. Okay. What is worse? What is worse than a historical pandemic? Massive unemployment, the destruction of a local economy, jobs being lost, and when we're the other side of this tunnel, there's nothing left to go to. That's worse. Please understand that. Furthermore, if food and beverage taxes, retail taxes, hospitality and hotel taxes continue to suffer, and no UVA students in Charlottesville for the fall semester is going to destroy the $200 million fiscal 2021 budget for the city of Charlottesville, and it will hammer the $400 million budget for Albemarle County for fiscal year 2021. If that goes as it could go, your real estate taxes, 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 yes, will go up. And folks, whether you want to believe this or not, I want you to hear this. Taxes can be a regressive tactic that damages and negatively impacts our most vulnerable. You heard? Scott is watching in Virginia Beach. Scott, welcome to the broadcast. You know I love you, Scott, on this program. Andre Xavier has a comment. Jerry, there will be no fall sports or large gatherings. Disney Hong Kong just closed back down. After 1 month of being open, we will see another form of lockdown soon. That's from Andre Xavier. The governor on record at a press conference this afternoon, and if the tea leaves are an indication, we may see kind of a throttling back of phase 3 in the Commonwealth. We're seeing it elsewhere, notably California. Watch the governor this afternoon. Jamie Schwartz is watching the program, co-star, Women Changing Our World, Mondays 10:15 on the I Love CVille Network. I know I'm biased, but I love Kelly's ideas. She's always so smart and direct, smart, funny, beautiful. That's my girl, Kelly Jackson. James Bo Stockton is watching the show, one of the co-owners of Littlejohn's. He has this message, and Bo will join us on this network on Monday. The tradition we want to continue on the corner will be as historic as the location. Thank you for the support. Jason, you did great. You did do great, Jason. Thank you for joining us on this broadcast. And give Littlejohn some love. Can you get the GoFundMe link back on screen, please? Carol Thorpe, thank you for reading and agreeing to my comment. Carol, you said it better than I could. Seriously. You said it better than I could. Bravo, and job well done. More comments coming in. Chris Christofson. Jerry, the show is good as always. I didn't know this about Littlejohn's. Thank you for bringing this to our attention. I am very concerned of the UVA corner, just like you are of the downtown mall. In a lot of ways, the downtown mall is more forgiving or has more margin of error than the UVA corner, who is solely tied to UVA students. I've said this multiple times on this broadcast. I think the pockets of commercial real estate with the most exposure in Charlottesville and Central Virginia, without question, the city of Charlottesville has the most exposure, and why the city of Charlottesville has the most exposure or risk for its real estate is because the patios are smaller, they don't have a lot of land around their businesses, there's not a lot of outside space, and many of the restaurants and merchants in the city of Charlottesville, because rents are so high, have footprints for their businesses that are small. And that's to keep monthly rent down, you keep square footage down. Compare and contrast that to an Albemarle County or a Fluvanna County, where you can go to a huge piece of land, whether it's Pro Renata or Keswick Vineyards, or like a brewery that has ample space and outside seating. So the city is at a disadvantage already. Now, if you're looking at pockets of real estate in the city of Charlottesville with the most risk and exposure, I think it's like this. I think, number one, the most risky pocket of real estate in the city of Charlottesville right now is the UVA corner. And it's because it's just so strongly tied to students. It's so strongly tied to students. I think the second most vulnerable pocket of real estate in the city of Charlottesville is Barracks Road Shopping Center. Federal Realty is a publicly traded company, and Federal Realty has responsibilities to its shareholders and to maintaining value and to driving its stock price. Federal Realty, I hate to say this, cares more about its shareholders than it does its merchants in Barracks Road. So the second most exposed piece of real estate from a risk standpoint of surviving COVID-19, I think it's Barracks Road Shopping Center. The rents are the highest. The most expensive price per square foot, and that's how commercial is valued, is in Barracks Road Shopping Center. And it's justified in a pre-COVID landscape. In a pre-COVID landscape, Barracks Road Shopping Center was the epicenter of disposable income, of folks that wanted to get fabulous food at Panera, wanted to shop at the Virginia shop, wanted to get a coffee at Greenberry's, wanted to get a broccoli and cheddar bowl at Panera, wanted to go walking down and patronize the Happy Cook, wanted to exercise guys at Orange Theory, whatever it may be. You had so much disposable income in this shopping center and so much foot traffic and available parking that the rents were justified. Federal Realty. Someone get Federal Realty on the line and go to studio camera, please. Someone tag Federal Realty on here. Or someone tag the Barracks Road Merchants Association, the local association of merchants in Barracks Road. So I got a message for Federal Realty. In fact, I got a message for the landlords on the corner. Please see the forest through the trees. And please do not become fashion scare mall. And how you can become fashion scare mall is if you don't lower your rents. You cannot maintain, Hunter, talking to you, Federal Realty, I'm talking to you. You cannot maintain the rents that you had before COVID-19 in a post-COVID-19 world. If you do, you're going to lose your tenants, especially your local ones, and you're slowly going to erode and turn into fashion scare mall. You need to offer a break, offer a sizable break. Think about this. Part of the appeal of going to the corner and part of the allure of going to the corner and part of the attraction of going to the corner is going to a shopping and dining district that is not duplicated elsewhere in our city. You can get some Krusties at the Biltmore. You can get some fried mac and cheese at the Virginian. You can get a wild turkey sub at Littlejohn's. You can go and have some orange crushes and a damn good burger at Boylan. You can get in with a napkin and a fake New Jersey ID to Coupe de Ville. I'm just joking. I used to do that, Coupes. I'm sure your standards of getting into Coupe de Villes now are much more difficult than when I was getting there as a first year with a piece of paper and then a fake New Jersey ID. What I'm saying is it's eclectic. It's vibrant. It's dynamic. It's different. It's a motley crew of merchants and restaurants, and that's what makes it special. If you don't drop your rents, you know what you're going to happen? You're going to get more sheets. Because they have the cash and the burn rate to afford the rents. And locals don't. You just heard Jaison Burke on the line. And get the GoFundMe link on there. You just heard Jaison Burke on the line saying, we have tapped all our resources and we are all in with our money. Bo Stockton's going to join us on Monday. I'm so pumped for Bo. I love Bo. It's going to be a second rodeo on this progress. Love some Bo Stockton. Gary Grant said, Jerry, I've been listening to your entire show while typing emails. It's been a fantastic show, valuable information. Thank you as always. And that's from Gary Grant. Well, Gary, I appreciate you. Thank you, Gary Grant, for watching today's broadcast. Give the show guys a like and a share. I'll take one more. Rosemary's watching. Hey, guess what, Kelly? Rosemary loved your interview. Rosemary Postle, I'm excited to meet you. Your daughter's very dynamic. She did a heck of a job today. Scott said, I love the Wahoos at Boylan Heights. I love the corner. Jerry Miller, what is going to happen to Chandler's Bakery? I'll look into Chandler's Bakery. Oh, man, I love Chandler's Bakery. Thanks for the tip, Scott. Now more than ever, your favorite spots need our help. So help them, please. We need to do it. The last thing we want, and I'm not knocking Fredericksburg. The last thing we want is to turn into that strip in Fredericksburg. Okay? This is the I Love CVille Show. My name is Jerry Miller. I'm back here tomorrow at 12:30. You guys have a good afternoon.